What's going on, everyone? So, LeBron James. Everyone is going and speculating and going wild over LeBron James' decision 2.0. He teased and alluded to kind of having a decision level thing. And of course, this caused a lot of speculation of what is it, right? Is this him announcing his retirement before the season begins? And he's going to let everyone know, hey, this is going to be my last go. This is my last go around. That's it. Sayonara. Or is it something else? I think, obviously, I don't know. Not like I called LeBron and was like, hey, Bron, like, what's going on? What's the deal? Cue me in type thing. I don't think it's him announcing his retirement. Couple reasons, right? One, I think he would announce that in the offseason, not in the mix of training camp and all those other things. I think, there would be probably some dialogue, some conversation at the end of a season, right? To where it's like, okay, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to kind of continue? Right? Like, he had all offseason to do that. Right? When the Lakers got eliminated, he had those conversations with his family and stuff like, how many more years are you comfortable with me playing? His kid, I know he said, like, that's not going to be the decision. He said the same thing about Bronny, right? Like, and he did an entire commercial with him and his wife and everybody. But remember a couple years ago, it was like, do it with your son and then, prove everyone wrong and do it again or whatever, right? Like, talking about doing and playing with Bryce. So one, I don't think in the middle of training camp, in the middle of preseason, he's going to announce that he's retiring. Two, I don't think that, I think he at least plays another year so he can play either with or against his son. Probably my best guess. He's right there. He's a year away. Why would he, it's not like he's going to drastically fall off a cliff in a year, talent wise or anything like that to where it would lead him to go like, okay, like, he knows how he feels. He knows what he's capable of. He knows how his body is taking. All of these things I'm sure he's very privy to. He's talked about how he feels good and everything's great and stuff. And I know he's been sitting out, but Lakers have said it's more precautionary. This is one of those things. If this was playoffs or something like that, he'd probably be playing, but you take your time. You still got a lot of offseason left. You still got a lot of, 82 games of a regular season leading into the postseason. I just think it's a weird time to announce your retirement, right? Like, look, LeBron, he doesn't do everything by the book. And, there is that argument of like, okay, well, what's a right time? But I think that there would be this announcement type thing. And then another thing too, like LeBron said himself he regretted the way he handled the decision and the way he went about that. So we've seen him poke fun and kind of find humor in that whole thing. I don't think that he would use that like decision 2.0 type thing to announce something as important and significant as his retirement. I think, I'm not saying that he might not have like like an announcement or something like he might. They've talked about he wants the farewell tour, he wants all those things. You'd probably want people to prep and teams prepare and all this stuff so you can actually have a proper one. And, all these teams can, do highlights and stuff and show things on the video monitor and really give you the praise and stuff rather than them scrambling to get like, I don't see him using like the decision 2.0 and make it like, to me, this kind of seems like, again, a kind of mockery type thing that he's using to kind of, announce something, maybe it's his new league or something like that. I do think that there is I do think that there is an answer, and I'll get to that here in a moment, but kind of, I don't think that the decision route is the route that he would go. And lastly, right, like Luka Doncic is probably the best chance he has to win another championship. Wouldn't you want to wait? Right? Like, get through this season and see how does it look? How does it work? Kind of, even put some pressure on the Lakers. Like, hey, if we don't win a championship this year, I'm probably retiring next year type thing. Like, make that, like, tell the Lakers in confidence, in private, kind of light a fire under their behinds to maybe try to, hey, we want to get LeBron a championship. Because my whole thing is like, and there was reports like a month ago now or whatever, that if LeBron won the NBA championship, he would retire. I don't think he would, right? Because if he wins an NBA championship, he's now got 5. So he's tied with guys like Kobe and Magic and, whatnot, right? Like, he's one away from Jordan. And that's always been like a big thing. His number, all of that. Right? Like, he's chasing Jordan. He's chasing greatness. He wants to be the greatest of all time. So if he could win and win at this age, win a championship. I don't see him being like, okay, I got 5, I'm good. I think he'll try to see, like, can I win it again? And then if he gets 6, then I could see, maybe you go for the 3-peat at that point because you won 2. But I wouldn't be shocked if he's like, all right, like I got my 6th ring, I'm good. Let's go, let's move on, right? Type thing. There's been talks for years that he's gonna play 25 seasons, right? That obviously plans change, things change. There's always, you never really know. Like he's talked about, kind of take it year by year. Kind of how does my body feel? How does my family feel? How does everything kind of coming together in a way that justifies me playing another season? But 25 years, I think, is something that I think even he wants. Right? Like he's somebody that is all about greatness and accolades and records and things like that. Yes, he's a real team player, but he's achieved and accomplished so much. Why not be the first player to play 25? You've already, set the record, 2 more years. Again, I don't see him going from 6th in MVP voting to, a top 100 player in a 2-year span, right? Don't get me wrong, Father Time hits you quick, but LeBron doesn't show any signs of drastic drop off aging. He's shown signs of aging. He's not the player he was even 5 years ago, but he's still one of the best players in the league. He's still arguably a top 10 player in all of basketball. I think he is a top 10 player in all of basketball. And like I said, he was all NBA. 6th in MVP voting. He's got Luka Doncic, which is something that he's been begging for years. It's why they went and got Dennis Schroeder and then Russell Westbrook and then D'Angelo Russell and then Dennis Schroeder again. And now they got Luka Doncic, somebody that can take the pressure off of him game after game after game, possession after possession after possession, somebody that can be the engine and driving force, allow LeBron to play more off ball and kind of preserve himself better, as he kind of navigates over how many years he's going to play left. And now you got the best option possible. Literally. You got the best kind of player for what LeBron has been looking for that they could have gotten even in your wildest dreams in Luka Doncic. Right? The only other player that would be that is Nikola Jokic. Right? It's there's 2 players in the league that are at this stage of their careers better offensive engines than LeBron James. And that is Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. And it's Dallas would never trade Luka, and Denver's never trading Jokic. So forget about that. Let's go try to get a Dennis Schroeder or a D'Lo or somebody that can just handle the on-ball pressure and play a role, or maybe we can get, a Kyrie at some point or whatever, right? That was always the talk. That was always the discussion. And then the Dallas Mavericks actually did trade Luka, and they were foolish enough to make that decision. And now you're going to have a healthy, motivated, charged, ready to go Luka Doncic. What I think this is, I think that this is a Amazon ad. He did the Prime deal thing. He's had a couple of those kind of commercials and stuff like that with Amazon Prime, and had some, very similar to this type of thing. And I think that's what this is. I think that, I've seen a lot of people mention it, right? Not something I'm the only person that thought of this. No, I agree with that kind of thought, right? That kind of general, hey, it's a commercial or something along the line. Even if it's not Amazon, it's some other collaboration. Maybe it's the announcement of his new league, right? There could be a lot of things that it is outside of that. The only way I see LeBron announcing his retirement now, which I still think would be just such a weird time to make that announcement. But, okay, why would LeBron announce his retirement now? The only reason it would make sense is so that way the Lakers can fully move in and embrace Luka. Kind of hey, this is going to be my last hurrah. Me and Luka Doncic, we're going to try to do great things this year, try to go out with a bang type thing, win an NBA championship, whatever. Right? But again, I default to wouldn't you want to see a full year first? Right? Again, I could understand if at the end of last season, it's okay, they got Luka, it's the end of an era. I'm just going to let them do their thing, right? I'm going to let the Lakers kind of move in a direction and let them build around Luka. I'm going to announce my retirement, right? Or maybe play this 1 year and then announce my retirement. But now you're already committed. You already did all the work. You're ready to gear up for the preseason and then the regular season. And now you're going to get a full season with Luka Doncic and you to see how does it work? How do you feel? How is everything? Like, I feel like this would be a bit of a rash decision for LeBron. And LeBron doesn't really, again, we talked about his whole career. He does everything very specifically. Nothing he does isn't like calculated, right? Like, it's why every time he says something or does something, it gets like crazy overanalyzed and broken down and stuff, right? Like, so I just feel like just looking at LeBron's track record, why would he all of a sudden go against that grain to just randomly in the middle of training camp make that announcement, knowing all the attention that that's going to cause, all the media, everything that it's going to do, the distractions it's going to create on the Lakers and stuff like that. You know, and I know there's going to be people that are like, well, it's the attention. He wants the attention. But it's like, it's not, it would, like, yes, it'd be good attention, but it's not the right attention you want at the right time. Like, he would get that attention regardless, right? Like, and again, if he really does want the attention, why wouldn't you do it in the offseason after your contract's locked up, which is another thing. Like, LeBron's always honored his contracts, which you could argue, okay, he could retire here, but like, I don't think he retires a Laker. And I've said this for years. I don't think he leaves the Lakers until he's ready, right? Like, I could see what I think will happen. Again, I don't know, but my guess of like what LeBron will do is he'll finish this year. Right, because I do, like I said, I think he has like a year or two left. I think he'll finish this year. If they win the championship or get like really, like let's say they make the finals, right? I could see LeBron maybe going like, okay, let's go do one last push. We were right there. You know, let me see if I can, you know, we can get back and win it this time. But like, let's say outside of winning a championship, I could see LeBron looking at this and going like, okay, I'm going to retire. I'm going to go sign with the Cavs or sign and trade with the Cavs for a season. I think Cleveland would do it because, you know, one, unless Cleveland wins the championship this year, right? So as long as the Lakers or Cleveland don't win the championship this year, I think LeBron could potentially do that. And then he departs to Cleveland. He does the farewell tour in Cleveland, which, don't get me wrong, I'd love LeBron to retire a Laker. I know Lakers have said that they want him to retire a Laker, but if I remove my Laker bias for a moment, right, it only makes sense for LeBron to retire a Cav, right? It'd be like if, you know, like if Kobe went elsewhere, you know, in his final years or whatever, it's like, no, like, dude, he's got to retire a Laker. You can't retire a Piston or a Bull or something like that. That's not where you built your career. That's not where you became the player that you became. Right? It's why you see guys like KG and Dirk and all these other guys, they all stick with the team or they go back to their old team and retire with their old team. You know, Derrick Rose goes back to Chicago for one off, you know, Dwayne Wade goes back to Miami. Like, that's usually how they do it. So, like, I could see LeBron, like, I don't think this year is his last year. I could see next year potentially being his last year. And if it is, I think he goes to Cleveland, plays a year in Cleveland or half a year or whatever, and that'll be his farewell tour. He'll get all his flowers. He'll get everything. Everyone will give him his praise. Whatever happens in Cleveland happens in Cleveland. You know, for history's sake, maybe he wins a championship because Cleveland would be really good. Right? So you do whatever, you figure out whatever, you do that, you go on the run, and then you call it quits. Right? That's kind of how I see it. But I don't think he's retiring. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.